Community Matters. Hello and welcome. Today's podcast is a production of the Holocaust Memorial and Tolerance Center of Nassau County. And on today's episode of It's All About the Children, Sami and I are going to be talking to Daniel Rosen, one of the co-founders of Impact. Every generation is called upon to meet some challenges. And today, things and challenges have expanded to a new space called the digital world. Every day, billions of people are receiving information through their algorithms that influence what they see, what they believe, and how they understand the world around them. And narratives are being shaped every second. And some of us feel like there's not much that we can do. Why is this moment so important for marking time now for young people? I have to introduce someone who's really special today, Daniel Rosen. He's one of the co-founders of Impact. And he's here to talk about the mission that's behind this movement, why they believe that we are fighting what's called the Eighth Front, and why every one of us has an opportunity and a responsibility to help shape the digital world for our children and our grandchildren that they will inherit. So please join me in welcoming Daniel Rosen. Thank you so much for being here today.
Carin, thanks for having me. Sami, it's a pleasure and an honor to sit with you and be with you. When I describe what we're involved with, there's really one word that I can use to really, if we had to walk away in this one moment, it would be organize. That would be the word, organize. And so this meeting we're having right now is actually a manifestation of this effort. So Carin, I met you, right, a few months ago. Impact organized a walking rally at the Israel Day Parade. That's when I met you, Sami. Sami was also there. And from that act of organizing, we had about 80 people with us on the float and off. I met you, Carin, and you brought your, all of your gusto and energy, and from that you've been involved with what we're doing, and that brought us to this moment right now. And so this is really a manifestation of organizing, and like at its core. And so, as president of Impact, okay, our goal is to organize the community to combat Jew hatred online and offline. They're both connected and they're both important. And we were talking a little bit, Sami, offline about, media and things like that. And that's definitely a big part of our strategy. But basically, to go back, our goal is to organize the community so that we have a unified voice, so we have a united message. Whatever that message might be, whatever we choose it to be, if it's going to be BDS is bigotry, if it's going to be about xenophobia and what that means, if it's whatever the thing is that we choose to focus on, that we're unified with that voice. And I'll stop and turn it back to you, which is that, we talk about the Eighth Front, and it's a massive issue. It's not something that any one of us alone can conquer. But the idea is that in order to have a chance to fight this Eighth Front, we have to organize ourselves and do all that we can,
Yes. I only learned about this Eighth Front in the last couple of months because, to me, I felt like all this advocacy work that all of us are doing was happening, at the schools with legislation, policy. And when I learned about what Impact does and the way that you organize online and offline, and the way that you are willing to train and support communities in this effort, really spoke to me, and I know spoke to a few people that are a part of this work now. And I'm just wondering, maybe you can talk a little bit, about how easy it is for us to really start to take some of these simple actions, right? Like, people like to talk a lot, but it's hard for people to act. So how can we inspire people to want to act when they're not sure what they can really do? How can Impact, help us act easier or in a simpler way,
Okay, so our philosophy is to get as many people as we can, younger people, middle-aged people, older people, to come together and to act with one voice. So one thing you can do is join Impact now. You can go to our Instagram, or you can just go to our Apple platform and you can download the app. That's one way to become involved.
So how do you do that? You go to the App Store.
So you go to the App Store, you can, you type in Impact.
Okay.
It should come up, and then you can download the app, and then you can join a group. So the way Impact works is that what we aim to do is to identify things that are important, campaigns, missions, things like that. And then once we decide, or we partner with someone who we think has the right idea, we then send out missions to the people who are involved with us. So we can reach you on the app. We can reach you through our socials. We can reach you through our email campaign. We can reach you through our media and through different activities that we take. But once we reach you, we'd like you to join us. Why? So we can work together in a collective way. When you're on social media right now, if you're one voice, okay, and you like something, you comment, you share, you're literally one voice in the wilderness, and who knows what kind of negativity you're going to get. Now imagine if that one voice could become 10, and then 100, and then 1,000. Suddenly, when you have 1,000 people doing the same thing at the same time, you can have tremendous impact. And 1,000, 10,000, 100,000. Now, let's go back a step if we can. Okay, we talked about this idea of, or did we, an awakening or a recalibration. That's something that you've gone through, Gwen, right? Is that fair to say?
I have definitely gone through. I had a few different moments where I had these aha moments for myself and with my children and their learning. And something got me kind of just questioning.
Yeah, exactly. And that's part of the beauty of this moment. So there's a lot of negativity, obviously, but there's also a beauty in it, in that there's a whole generation of people. Let's say your generation, our generation are probably part of the same generation X, right?
Yep.
And then there's the millennials and the Zers and the alphas. This is not going away from them. This experience that I've had, that you've had, okay, is something that's going to last, is going to stay with us.
Oh, yeah.
And so there are lots of people, believe it or not, who have the same feeling. And that's encouraging because we can come together and we can have a voice. So our enemies, and I call them my enemies because of the things they say and the things that they do, that they're clearly an enemy to my existence. So they've been doing this for literally 40 years. Yep. Literally. They've been organizing and they've perfected different segments of this organization. So first it was, let's say, the universities, right? And they went from universities and then they infiltrated the media. And then they infiltrated the high schools and the elementary schools. They've infiltrated in so many places because they've been at it for so long. So our mission, our goal, is to do all that we can, understanding the limited abilities of what we can do at this moment, doing the most that we can by organizing ourselves, building ourselves up to a point where we can actually impact things, where we can actually impact the narrative, or we can go back to the schools with 10 people together speaking together, or 50 people speaking with one voice, and then start to impact the conversation. They have lots of people, not nearly as many as you think. It's that they've been at this, working at this, and organizing in multitudes of ways. So we looked at the Mamdani story, or we look at the elections that just happened. This is not a surprise. If you look at, they've been cultivating this machine for 30, 40 years. So once you cultivate a machine, right, you can then ask them to do whatever you want them to do. On Monday, you can ask them to go protest and vandalize. On Tuesday, you can ask them to hand out political flyers. On Wednesday, you can ask them to write letters in the newspaper. You can ask them to do whatever it is you want them to do. And so that's what they've successfully done. So when we see Mamdani successful, we say, how did this happen in a city of so many Jewish people? The reason is because they've built a machine and they got out the vote with under 7%, they won.
One of the things that I am noticing in many different spaces, whether it's, through elected officials, leadership, teachers unions across the country, different groups that seem to organize, like you said, and are putting out a very one-sided message. And that, to me, is really scary. So when I learned, and I'm not somebody who likes social media because I am that one voice. The only person that sees anything that I post are Sami and Gwen. I have two people that like what I do on social media. And I'm not getting out there because I don't have this community. I would love to build, right, a whole network of people that are going to be able to respond in this way. And I feel like that's what Impact is doing and creating, right?
That's exactly what we're doing. Imagine we had a great campaign where we wanted to draw attention to some really terrible actor out there, right? So we would send them a mission out to 10,000 people and say, everyone, we want you to send a letter to this news organization which has hired this terrible person. And so suddenly 10,000 letters go out to that news organization. And that's how you can really start to develop an impact. And that's one way of doing it. But I want to go back to this idea of, so they've been at this for a long time, right? So our goal needs to be, yes, we have to worry about the world. We can't not worry about the world, but to focus more inwardly on what we can do, what we have the power to do now. And so no one can stop us from doing what we choose to do. No one can stop us. We can't stop them, but they can't stop us either. excuse me. So our goal is to organize ourselves to the best of our ability. And as we're doing that, we're also taking action. We're not waiting till we have 100,000 people. We're doing things now as well.
Right.
So we've had rallies in front of Gracie Mansion. We've had rallies in front of that, it's called Foodies Unite in Union Turnpike, which is where I met Gwen.
Yep.
We've had rallies in Forest Hills.
We went to the Park Slope Co-op. I saw.
We did a Bomba Brigade.
Yep.
We can talk about that.
Yeah, I would love to hear a little bit about that, because
Right.
the way that you're choosing to respond and organize, like you said, you're not waiting for this group. You're building it slowly, and as you build, it kind of keeps rippling out. I mean, I'm watching how you are getting more and more followers and people that are understanding what this is, because I think at first, and I'm talking for me, someone who's not in this like other generation, I think the young kids can absolutely help us, right? Like any children out there that know how to access and utilize all of this. You know, I was showing it to my son, who's not really in digital space yet. I mean, he's a teenager, but he doesn't have a cell phone. And I showed him the app and I showed him how to use it. And he was like, this seems like pretty easy. And I was like, wouldn't it be cool if you started your own community?
Right.
You know, because I feel like people from as young as teenagers to people in Sammy's demographic can probably all have the same kind of access and be taking action and doing these missions, like you said, that can help push out, right?
So we believe in younger people as an important engine, in middle-aged people, people like myself, right? And older people like Sammy and younger even a bit, you know, who maybe have time. It's interesting. We're not going to get into the reasons for this. There's not enough time. But most of these events we go through, we put on or we attend, 2/3 of the people there are either middle-aged or older. 2/3 at least. And so we can say, oh, how bad is that we can't get the young people out? Or we can say, well, okay, this is the people we have on the board. These are the people. It's actually the middle-aged to older age people who are actually the most organized, the most available,
active,
the most mentally understand the moment that we're in, and are willing to do something about it, believe it or not. And so while we'd love to have young people, and that needs to always be our goal, and we want young people for sure, we have to also look at who we have. And so as part of it, so we have reached out to high schools, 10 different high schools, Jewish high schools throughout, and we'll get into non-Jewish schools as well, but Jewish high schools in the New York, New Jersey area. We have 10 different schools who have engaged with us on different levels through the app and through online and offline activities. So schools are important, and there's a lot of empowerment that comes along with that, and a lot of teaching that comes along with that. But we believe also actually middle-aged people and older, 55 plus, are actually a diamond in the rough, actually. We believe that they possess, again, I said it before, they understand the moment much better than anybody else. And so we've actually started something very new called our Digital Activism Workshop Campaign.
Okay.
And we did one in Queens. With
Tell
you guys,
us about
right?
that.
It was
yeah.
amazing. We had about, I think it was 20 people over the age of 55, mostly 60s, 70s, 80s.
Oh.
And they were extremely engaged. They were so happy to be there. They were appreciative, and they wanted to rock and roll. They wanted to rock. They wanted to get into it. And so if you're home, right? Let's say you're an 80-year-old person. You don't want to, have to deal with protests and this and that, but you still care. You have your phone.
Yeah.
All you got to do is learn how to get on Facebook, which is like pressing a button. It's like email. What email was to us 30 years ago, it's like, what? Email? What is this crazy thing? How am I going to do this? Now it's just like you can't live without it. It's a similar thing. You press a button, you're in your social media, you press another 2 buttons, and boom, you've done that action. And so we believe that by doing this with more and more people, right, we want to have these plus 55 digital activist workshops all across the country. We started in Queens. We have 3 more for Westchester. And again, it's not the only thing we're doing. It's just a piece of it, And so we have the students that we're working with, the schools. We have the plus 55 and older we're working with. Okay, we have the rallies and the protests where we're able to set the narrative, right? We choose our place and our moment, and we set the tone. Right, we had an event in Forest Hills where basically it was a rally against it was basically the simple message was Nazism sucks, right? Swastikas are terrible. Who can disagree with that? We framed it. We weren't chasing after our enemies saying, no, Palestine, Israel's good. No, Israel's good. We weren't chasing after them. You were talking about that earlier today. The idea of we don't have to defend it. We don't have to explain ourselves away. Right, we have to show the problem.
Right? Show the problem.
But we frame it with our rally in Queens was, this shall not stand. You cannot come into our neighborhood. You cannot act in despicable ways and expect our community not to have an organized response. And that was our response. And it was a message, this shall not stand. That was the message. This shall not stand. And we had Democrats and Republicans. Bruce Blakeman came.
Mozzie was there.
Mozzie Phillips was really there. Nice. We had David Weprin.
Jim Gennaro. David. You know what? And I want to give them credit because I feel like in all of those spaces, when it comes to like local politics, they don't even go into the same rooms with each other. Right. I mean, the way that they act is beyond like childish. I mean, oh no, I can't do a
that almost happened to us. That
with
almost
him because of this and because of that and because this is humanity. Because we're talking about how important humanity is. Right. So you talk about this generation, the Sami generation, right? Or the 55 and over defenders. Right. I saw you wrote an article recently.
Right.
How amazing would it be if somebody, like Maxwell came to like a senior facility, like let's say my children or your children or all of our kids, and they train them to become these digital defenders. Yeah. And we make partnerships with all of these friends that are in the 55 plus community. Could we have a campaign where we go to senior facilities
Absolutely.
And we bring kids and they get community service credits in the high schools for going and training these people in these communities.
And that's how you merge the chesed.
And then how nice would it be for them to hang out with the young kids and for the young kids to do something nice for the world.
It's fantastic, by the way. You just came up with I mean, it's an obvious point, but
I have ideas. Sammy's like, when are we going to get started?
No, because we go back to the schools and we say to the schools.
He's jumping with excitement.
Yeah, this is how we integrate, the digital activism, the young people and the old people together. It's actually a fantastic idea.
We can make that shit up. Yeah, let's do it.
We're going to do that. We're going to do that. It's a great
Sammy,
connector.
We're coming to you first.
It's a great connector.
What do you want to say? We didn't let you talk for a whole 20 minutes.
Well, you did a good job. Okay, so I'll let you
jump in. What do you want to say? Yeah.
Well, with all due respect, I'm a very positive person, but with all due respect.
Oh, no.
Okay.
We're going to need 25 minutes here.
We can have it.
There are many organizations
that
fight the same thing. Mm-hmm. Why do you believe, like, for instance, to give an example where your co-founder of Impact, Aaron Herman, was there. Okay. And at the Kufi, okay, they basically have the same message. They just basically do the same thing in a different way. Okay. They're Christians. What makes you different than all the other Jewish organizations that are fighting, because they have not succeeded to
not yet.
So in Forest Hills, we had this rally, this shall not stand, right? With the swastika, because I told you about it a second ago.
Yes.
Okay. So with all these great organizations that exist, right? What was the reaction? It was in the heart of New York City. What was the reaction?
They had another gala and they ate another bagel.
Right. What they did was they had a press conference, right, with a bunch of politicians who basically, I'll tell you what they did, with a terrible microphone, with a very weak message, and that was it. That's all they were going to do. And we reached out to, in the beginning, nobody wants to be part of it until everyone's part of it, then everyone wants to. In the beginning, we reached out to a few politicians, but we want to do something. You know what they said? Oh, we already did something. We reached out to I'm not going to mention the organization, I don't want to get in trouble. We reached out to an important organization in Queens who's in charge of and we said, we'd like to do something. It's not enough, the press conference. Oh, we already did something. Don't make a big deal. Don't make any waves. This is what they said to us. So the power of the organized Jewish community, what did they do? Nothing. So what did we do? We started organizing. We got some major, some key small organizations.
They had your buddy
with.
Zach Sage there too.
We brought Zach Sage Fox, the influencer. Yeah. We brought Democrats and Republicans. Even Bruce Blakeman, who's running for governor.
Yeah, he came.
He came to the rally. We had over 200 people. On that day, on Mother's Day, we had, you're talking about the press, right? We had Channel 2, Channel 4, Channel 5, Channel 9, and Channel 11. They all came to the rally in the way that we framed it with our messaging. We had New York Post, AOL.com, AM New York, front page, which is a local subway newspaper, print. All these people. So we got the media. We got our message with our framing. We had bipartisan support. And we did all that on a Mother's Day. And we set the narrative. So you ask, how are we different? Well, that's one way that we're different. That when we see something happening, we go into action. We're not waiting for... I have close connections with the major Jewish organizations, the UJA, I'm not going to mention names again,
Right,
but ADL, AJC, and I reach out to them. You know what they say to me? Good luck. That's what they say. The head, I can't say a name. One of the head guys.
Yeah.
He was traveling. He texted him. I said, we're doing this. He wrote to me, good luck.
He was probably the same guy that liked to. He
Okay.
announced Sammy and made a whole thing at the one of the legislative breakfasts, and then when you email him 15 times,
Right, he doesn't respond. Exactly.
Yeah.
But
the
one
same
of the
guy.
things that is very important, all the changes in the world have been accomplished by young people. Okay, so most of the people that are getting involved are middle-aged and unfortunately older people.
Okay.
Okay, basically they are not going to go to a rally, very seldom, not in large numbers. Do you remember the rally called No Fear
When was that?
about 4 years ago?
In Washington?
DC?
Yes, I went to it, and I brought my kids.
And
No Fear.
We're talking about the rally in Washington, D.C., the big one.
That people didn't show
the
up
one
to?
big one they had?
No.
No.
No Fear. Okay, they expected, I forgot the name of the organization that organized it. They expected over 500,000 people to arrive. You know how many people showed up?
No, how many?
3,000. The other thing is they had wonderful speakers. Okay, they had a congressman, they had a senator. Okay, at the same time.
And why do you think it is that happened?
Wait a minute.
Why do you
Not
think?
a single Jewish leader was there. The media was not there. Nobody heard about it. That's why I wear a cap called No Fear. Okay, to understand, because it also creates a lot of questions and everything else. How do you plan to reach the young people? Because the young people, okay, everything that is happening right now, take a look what's happening worldwide. Who is demonstrating? Not middle-aged, not old people.
Right.
Young people. Do you see young people demonstrating for us?
So first of all, we are in 10 different schools, literally reaching out to young people. If you go onto our app now, you'll see we have all these different 10, literally half the.
So wait, no, let me explain to you.
But the same thing does stand with us. There are other organizations that do the same thing.
But they're not doing it in the
There's
same
nobody
space.
in the same space in the Jew. Okay, look.
He doesn't understand the app. So maybe you can explain the app part to him.
Okay, just one second. So the young people are super important. I agree with you. And we at Impact have engaged with 10 different Jewish local high schools, which has like 5,000 kids, okay, to meet with them and to teach with them these advocacy tools, to invite them to join the app, which means join a group in order to get missions, which they can then collectively do. So this is a big pie, okay? I don't claim to be the panacea for all the problems. In fact, the problems are so great that it can sometimes be overwhelming. What we can do is take one small bite and impact that small bite, and then we take another small bite. So to answer your initial question, what are we doing with the schools? We've reached out. We're the only ones. By the way, who are we? All these established SAR, Hafter, Halb, Hank, Central, there's 10 of them, okay? They're accepting us to come to their schools and doing a big presentation, getting them to join. And actually, at the end, in the middle of the year, we're having what we call a conference. We're getting all the students, 20 students from each school is going to be invited to come to do this advanced training type thing. But here's the more important thing. There's what we'd like to have, and there's what there is, right? So what there is in this exact moment, I'm telling you from experience, when I go to these rallies, at least 2/3 of the people there are over 55, at least. So why aren't the young people engaged? I mean, I could talk to you about it for a while. How do we get them engaged? We can talk about it for a while. We should attempt to get them engaged as much as we can. But I'm telling you, in reality, on the ground right now, as we speak today, that's what it is. It's people like Carin, who's not yet 55, not for a long shot.
Yeah.
It's Gwen, it's me, it's people like us who are deciding enough is enough. And that's the field we have. So with the field we have, we're doing the best we can. You know?
How are they going to bring the other groups of people, other organizations?
So as
So
I
hold
say,
on, we're gonna wrap this and we're gonna continue. We're gonna continue we can
Okay.
still.
We can go
Okay.
for minutes.
Do we just stop and then we'll do the part 2, or do I do the ending? Because Maybe we could do the whole ending stuff when everybody leaves at the end, so that way, because just say thank you. We're gonna get back to the part 2. Okay, so hang on. I'm loving our discussion, and I think we need to keep it going. So we're going to come back for a part 2 in just a few moments. And thank you for tuning in.